It's a lighter sports week for this week, and all the interior teams are hitting the road for week 6, so let's dive into the updated rankings for Division II football. Soldotna, last week they were sitting on top. West Valley, 3-1, North Pole, obviously Palmer, Lathrop, Eagle River, Chugiak, Wasilla. But with the win for Soldotna, they defeated Palmer 42-14, so they are going to stay on top in that top position for D2. West Valley, tight win against Wasilla, 22-20, 4-1, so they are going to keep that spot. Eagle River, nice little jump up. They went from 6 all the way up to 3rd, so 3-spot jump up for them. Definitely a huge improvement. I know North Pole is going to be a little bummed, even though they did defeat Chugiak 21-10. They did bump down 1. Palmer, that loss, so they're going to bump down. They're 2-3 now on the season. Chugiak, again, that loss. Lathrop, a really tough loss to Eagle River. That bumped them down 2, so they are now in 7th. And then Wasilla, again, they had that really close, tough loss. It was a great game, though, but they bumped to 1-4, so going to be really interesting seeing how things go on the away trip. All the interior teams are back after hitting the road for week 6 of the football season, and we walked away with 3 wins. So let's dive into the updated rankings for Division II football as we head into week 7. Now, Soldotna, they walked away with a win, nice 63-21 win over Wasilla. West Valley, not as impressive, but still great 32-14 win over Palmer. That's going to keep them in 2nd. Eagle River, North Pole lost. North Pole is going to jump them. Palmer, again, that loss to West Valley. Chugiak, tough loss to Lathrop, who really needed that to get back on the season roll. So we're going to take a look at this side, week 7. Soldotna, they're going to stay up 6-0. They're going to have Eagle River for their opponent for week 7. West Valley's going to look at Chugiak for their senior night. Going to be interesting, maybe a trap game, who knows? And then North Pole, they're going to pull Palmer. I think North Pole has this one in the bag, but, you know, lady luck, everybody's got one. So they're going to bump up to 3. Eagle River bumps down. They are going to pull Soldotna. Soldotna is unfortunately most likely going to steamroll because they've been doing it all season. And then we go to Lathrop. Lathrop is going to pull Wasilla. Again, I think Wasilla could be a trap game for Lathrop. Week 4 and 5, they lost those by less than 5 points combined. So could be really interesting. And then, yeah, that'll do it for this week's rankings. I think it'll be really interesting what we're going to see in the next part of the season. Maybe some teams sneak into the playoffs. Maybe some don't. Week 8 and 9 will be really interesting. The interior teams went 2-1 in week 7. In week 8, we'll see 2 of them fighting for the spot of best in the interior. So let's dive into the updated rankings for Division II football. Soldotna, they're still sitting on top. Nice 40-7 win over Eagle River. West Valley, unfortunately, really surprising loss to Chugiak, 18-3. North Pole, nice win. Great win. It was fun to watch, 26-13 over Palmer. Again, Eagle River with that loss, Palmer with the loss, and then Lathrop with a great win, 58-14 over Wasilla. And then Chugiak with that win over West Valley, and then Wasilla with the loss. Now let's look at the week 8 rankings. Soldotna is going to stay on top. North Pole bumping up a spot into 2nd. Great. Now it's starting to look like the Rail Belt Conference rankings. West Valley's going to bump down at 5-2. Lathrop with the win going to bump up 2 from 6th to 4th. Really great coming in late here. Be interesting next week and potentially week 9 with the Dog Bowl. Could play some real shaky settings going into playoffs. And then Eagle River, Palmer, Chugiak, they all bumped down, so definitely unfortunate. But we're going to see where it goes going into week 8. Definitely some interesting matchup. Soldotna is going to take on Lathrop, North Pole in the West Valley game. And then Eagle River has Wasilla, so potentially a win there. Chugiak and Palmer are going to battle it out. So A lot of interesting matchups for Week 8. The battle of the best in the interior was decided last week with North Pole earning the second trophy of this year. So let's dive into the updated rankings for Division II football as we head into the final regular season weekend. And of course, last week Soldotna was sitting on top, but with a surprising 35-28 loss, Lathrop. That was a really nice win. I was banging on my desk watching the website updates. North Pole, West Valley, that was an amazing slugfest. A little bit there, it was back and forth, long touchdowns, but you know, North Pole's going to walk away with that one. Eagle River, nice win over Wasilla. And then Palmer, Chugiak, Palmer walked away with that one, the win. Now we're going to move to Week 9 with some huge playoff implementations. Soldotna, all right, they are taking on North Pole. And then Lathrop, West Valley, Dog Bowl. Those two games right there, we're going to see some major playoff implications. If North Pole wins, they take over D2 completely and the rail belt. Potentially, if Lathrop wins the Dog Bowl, they could knock West Valley out of playoffs completely. Still not 100% sure because Eagle River, if they win, they bump to 5-4. Then it comes down to a bunch of tiebreakers and all that. And I know everybody doesn't have enough time to go through all that. So really interesting. It's going to be an interesting Friday, Saturday matchup. But then Eagle River, they're going to take on Eagle River is going to take on Chugiak. That could be a trap game for the Wolves. And then Palmer has Wasilla. So definitely going to be an interesting Week 9. A lot of things to play out here. So going to be really cool and fun to get those games on camera. An absolute crazy Week 9. Some of the teams won their way into a playoff spot and other teams lost their way out of it. Let's jump into the final rankings of the season for Division II football as we head into the first round of playoffs this weekend. Now, a lot of interesting things. Soldotna was able to win against North Pole. That one was unfortunate. Was really hoping North Pole could pull that one out. I know everybody was rooting against Soldotna in that one. Lathrop, huge win over West Valley. That one's going to have some interesting playoff implications, if you can see behind my back right now. And then Eagle River losing out to Chugiak. That one was really interesting. And then Palmer with a dominant win over Wasilla. Now we're going to jump over into the playoff side. Obviously, Soldotna is going to take that #1 spot. North Pole was able to keep second. Lathrop stayed in third with the win in the Dog Bowl. And then Chugiak, by all surprise, was able to jump from the 7th spot at that 4-5 and take 4th away from Palmer and Eagle River. All three of them were tied in the conference rankings, even though Palmer and Eagle River had a little bit better numbers. Still not really sure how the tiebreaker worked out in that one. But they're going to be ended up taking on Soldotna for theirs. And then we're going to have a nice interior matchup. North Pole versus Lathrop. Mayor's Bowl, round 3. This one's going to decide the season series with Lathrop taking that first game, week 1. And then North Pole taking a nice solid win in the second one to take home the Mayor's Bowl trophy. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things go this weekend. But the Lathrop game versus North Pole, that one's going to be at 6 o'clock in North Pole. So it's going to be a little fun in the snow.